everybody. Welcome to Podcast Revived, episode number 18. I am your host, as always, Shane Craig, and joining me is the lovely Jessi Craig.
Howdy.
Howdy. Who said that? Howdy. Is that from Toy Story?
Maybe.
I think it was.
mean, Woody does say howdy.
Howdy. Yeah, I think so. Maybe it was like, maybe Buzz was like mocking him or something.
I don't know.
Podcast Revived is where, if you don't know, it's where we share our love of tech, gaming, and nerd culture with all of you lovely people. We record every week and we post on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, etc. If you have time to leave a like or a rating, a review, that would be most excellent. If you leave a review on something like iTunes and we see it, we will read that review aloud on the show. If you have a question or topic for us, head over to Twitter, find us at Scary If Literal, and you can talk to us on there and send us any topic you'd like to hear us talk about. I think we've got a pretty good show actually lined up today. We've actually been doing this thing called playing video games, which we haven't, done as much of as of late. But because of that, we've actually got some fun stuff to talk about. But let's start the show with something that's maybe not so fun to talk about, and that is the situation with my Surface Duo. If you have been following me on Twitter, which again, at Scary If Literal, is a great thing to do because, you can see this stuff and I can talk to you directly, which I do quite a bit of. If you've been following me on Twitter, you will know that last night my Duo started exhibiting some problems, right? Some issues. Mm-hmm. So maybe... Gosh, when was your nephew's football game? Maybe a month and a half ago?
It would, yeah, because that was like the first day of my vacation. And
okay,
I guess too, so.
Yeah, so at the end of September, I had an issue which I actually tweeted about, and I may be able to pull this imagery up here if I'm able to act quickly here. Maybe I can kind of scroll through this as we go. But yeah, here it is actually. So about a month ago, this was on October 5th it happened again. And I posted this picture here. I, started having this issue where my Duo would just randomly shut off. I could be literally holding it, browsing something, and just boom, it would just turn off. And when you try to turn it back on, what you would get would be just this little low battery icon, essentially. So the thing could be fully charged, shuts off in your hand, thinks it's dead, you try and power it on, doesn't turn on. If you plug it in, let it go for about a minute, it honestly seemed about whatever amount of time it would take for it to like gain a percentage of battery. So just enough time to charge a little. You'd unplug it and it would boot right up. Okay, so this happened at the end of September, early October. After this happened, what I wound up doing is I factory reset, and then I also kept it powered on long enough for the battery to drain all the way down to zero till it shut off. Then I charged it all the way back up, and it didn't happen again, right? So I made it a month without one more incident of this until last night, which you're going to be seeing this on Saturday, so I should say until Thursday night. Mm-hmm. Sitting on the couch, shuts off, plug it in, unplug it, comes back on. About the first time, I maybe made it a minute and it shut off again. Plug it in, unplug it, turns back on. Maybe made it 2 or 3 minutes and it shut off. Then the last time, maybe made it 3 or 4 minutes and it shut off again. And I was like, okay, well, we're just done. Like this thing's just, can I maybe try and factory reset it and see if that fixes it? I could, but at this point, I'm under warranty. So I'm going to take the opportunity to do 2 things. One, I'm going to exercise my warranty, and it is, in fact, on its way to El Paso, Texas, as we speak. We mailed it this morning. But also, I'm going to take the opportunity to put my SIM back in my OnePlus 7 Pro, and I'm going to see for the next, hopefully like a week, 2 weeks, and I've got my Duo back. Who knows? But I'm going to use this guy until my Duo is back, and then I'll be able to maybe talk a bit more about I've gotten used to having 2 screens and the form factor, the camera, the battery life, the performance of the Duo. Now I'm using the OnePlus 7 Pro again. What is that like? And after only a day, I'm already seeing a few things that are standing out to me about going back to a traditional phone. The primary negative I'm feeling is that I am now really not in love with a super tall screen. I really just, because it's a lot of real estate that I think is useless. I can't reach the top of that screen with with my hand. I can't really show it properly. But like I can't even get close to reaching up there. Like, it's insane. You have to totally shift. I'm a pinky holder. I got to take my pinky off and I got to shift it down, and it's awkward.
And that doesn't feel very secure either. It feels like you could drop it pretty easily.
At all. And if I'm watching a video, well, now I've got black bars on either side. So it's not, you can zoom in. Well, I guess it's got to be playing to do it, maybe. Or maybe I just can't zoom in.
You had already done it, I think. I thought you already did it.
No, it did it earlier today on a video, but apparently on this video, on one of my videos, it doesn't want to do it. Anyways, you can pinch to zoom on YouTube and zoom it in when it wants to act correctly. But then you're cutting off content from the top and the bottom. So I do not know what the point of having a screen this tall is. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me unless, what people say is, oh, well, you're supposed to do the thing where you've got your split screening, essentially. Because then you can have two apps, equal size squares, top and bottom. Great, I guess, but like, I never used it then. I'm not going to use it now. So as far as that goes, the limitation of having one screen, not being able to properly multitask, is bothering me. And I kind of, in some instances, I liked the wider screen. I could just see more stuff. Wider makes more sense to me, and I enjoy that. So those are the two things that I'm like, I miss having my Duo in my hands. On the flip side, having a camera that doesn't suck, and I hate to say it, but the Duo's camera, it fucking sucks. Like, it's like, in good light, it's fine. But I'll give you a really good, simple example. The other day, I was trying a recipe on some potato wedges I was cooking, right? And I've got them in the oven, and I wanted to take a picture of them in the oven with the what would you call it? The oil and the ingredients.
Marinade.
Sure. Poured over it, and it looked delicious. And I wish I could have captured in the photo the smell, because the smell was tremendous. It smelled so good. So I grabbed my Duo, I pulled the oven down, I let the steam come out, and I try to take a picture, and I try to take a picture, and I try to take a picture, and every image is a blurry, it's not in focus, it's blown the focus, it's smudged, it looks fucking useless. I had to walk back in here, I grabbed my Pixel 3, I went snap, it looked great, and I sent it. Took me a quarter of a second and I was done. Whereas on the Duo, I was never going to get a usable picture. Just was never going to get one. It's absolute madness that that the camera is that bad at anything that's moderately low light. Another thing is, I don't think, and I've proven this point in videos, the Surface Duo is not a underpowered device, okay? You can play PUBG twice at the same time with no frame drops. Plenty of power. The software, the glitchiness, the bugginess, the hangups, it's still a bit of a mess. When you go back to a OnePlus 7 Pro, especially with the 90 hertz screen, and everything is just smooth and lightning fast, and the gestures, oh my God, the gestures, like, I can just go home. I can just go back. Everything works every single time. I do it perfectly each and every time. That stuff starts to add up, where suddenly the OnePlus 7 Pro, which is a pretty normal phone, starts to feel like a really fabulous phone. Starts to feel so much more refined and smooth and intentional than the Surface Duo. These are aspects that can be fixed on the Duo, and they've already improved a lot, but they can come a long ways further. You start getting used to, I'm in Reddit and I have full screened an image and I'm trying to go back and my back gesture just doesn't work. It's just not there. So then I have to go home or I'm sorry, I have to lock it, unlock it, and then my back gesture works again.
Oh yeah, and that's just like very annoying.
Not a big deal, but you start getting used to having to do that shit, and then you use another phone for a day, and you're like, I don't have to do anything. It just works all the time. So that stuff still has to get fixed. When I get my Duo back, which I hope is quickly, right? Like, you know, they said shipping is 4 to 6 days. I'm assuming that they mean, you know, maybe 4 days to get to Texas. They got to look at the thing, confirm that it's fucked up, and I assume just send me a new one, which means I got to buy another screen protector and maybe another set of skins. Maybe I'll just go naked this time. Fuck it. Because D-Brand, or maybe it was Microsoft, I think it was Microsoft, released a statement saying that you shouldn't use a skin unless you have the bumper on. Because the bumper, when you fold it back around, actually keeps it from totally closing flush. So if there's a skin there, it might not want to close flush all the way. Like mine didn't totally close in phone mode all the way because the skin was there. The clearances are 0. So maybe I'll just go naked this time and just, you know, deal with that. But
that's interesting.
Yeah,
that's interesting that they said you shouldn't use a skin on
without the bumper, because the bumper goes around the backside and it actually keeps the phone from closing all the way. If you remember, that bumper actually kind of wraps around.
Yeah. Have they made any other color bumpers, or are they just white right now?
White, black, blue, and red exist.
Okay.
So I wanted to get a matte black one to go with my matte black skin, but they're sold out everywhere. So
that sucks.
I've got people on Twitter asking me, you know, is this an exchange or repair? I'm hoping it's an exchange. I'm not done with Duo. I was very bummed out about it last night, and last night I was thinking, you know, God, you know, this sucks. This is the look. How many? Jessi can attest to this. How much electronics I own, how much I buy. Not lately, because I make about 1/4 of what I made when I was working at retail management, whereas now I'm pointing a camera at myself and trying to make money this way. So I make about 1/4 of what I used to make. So I don't buy as much tech anymore, but I used to buy a lot of tech. Okay, how many things have I had to warranty? Have I had to mail out and exchange? 1, the Surface Duo.
Yeah,
I've never had to send anything else back.
Did we ever send one of my phones back for anything?
Not that I'm aware of.
Samsung phones? No, I just broke a phone. That's all.
Not that I'm aware of. I've never had a phone break on me like this. I've never had a phone not function properly to the point that I would send it in to have it exchanged. So
let me ask you a question before we move on. Some of the stuff that you experienced the other night, does that fall in line with what some people have said either in the subreddit or in the comments of any of your videos, that they had the same issues, or were they different issues?
I have seen 2 people with the same symptoms. 2. Not counting myself, so I will be number 3. It is not an issue I've seen repeatedly talked about in the subreddit or in my comments. Don't know what it is. People have asked me, you know, do you think it's hardware? Do you think it's software? I honestly think it's software, because I don't know how that makes any sense. Because why would my software be different than anyone else's?
It's like we get stuck in like a booting loop or something. Like, it kind of reminds me of that a little bit.
Yeah, like something about my system, and maybe this is hardware. Hardware probably makes more sense. But what I don't understand is, why is it that when I factory reset it and I did the drain and recharge. So one of those 2 things may have helped, because it went away for a month. So I don't know if it's a hardware issue or a software issue. It may be a hardware issue. For some reason, my system, my Duo, keeps randomly thinking it has gone dead. Now, the reason I don't think it's a simple, like, the Duo has 2 separate batteries, one on each side. So it's not simple enough to say that, well, maybe, you know, there's a ribbon that goes through the hinge to connects this hardware from one side to the other side. Well, you know, the ribbon's damaged or whatever. Well, it's not happening while I'm bending it. It's happening stationary. And 2, even if that battery over there is no longer functional, there's still another battery. And we know that it can run on one battery. I think it was Jerry Riggs Everything. When he took his apart, he destroyed the connector or something on that one battery, and he could still power it up with the one side having the battery. So it's not as though one side gets damaged and it breaks a circuit and now it just doesn't work anymore. And
because they
also,
would have protected against that.
and also it tries to boot. So it thinks it has no charge is what's happening. Now, is that because they had to build a custom chip, a custom interface to deal with having two batteries? Because when it charges them both simultaneously and it drains them both simultaneously. There's some sort of power control mechanism there. Is that chip bugging out on me? Maybe. Frankly, I just don't know. I'm hopeful that Microsoft looks at it, because what's bound to happen, what I'm worried about is you want to wipe it before you send it. So it's factory reset in the box back to Texas. I'm hoping they don't get it out and look at it and it doesn't do it, because I factory reset it and like that fixed it, quote unquote, for another month, and they're going to go, oh, it's fine, and then they mail it back to me. That would really suck. Hopefully they see my description, because I wrote a paragraph of what's happening. Hopefully they just see that and they just go, okay, let's just give them a new phone and just send it on.
I think that they will. I don't think that they're going to send you back the same phone. And the reason why is because I don't think that they want to be known, and right now they kind of are, I don't think they want to be known for having bad customer service. I think that they want to compete with Apple, and I can't imagine that they're like, oh, well, this guy's just, telling us a bunch of bull crap and
it would be a very odd
phone
thing
for some reason. That's not what it. I don't think they would do that.
Hopefully not. And like I said, I'm not done with Surface Duo. I do want one. I want it back, and I want to keep covering it. It's done a lot for my channel, and you guys seem to always be interested to hear more about it. So I definitely
and it's more data to have. It's more, it's more information to have.
You guys are going to get to see that process through my lens and so forth. So it seems like they've been pretty liberal with their warranty exchanges for people in the past. So hopefully that happens for me too. I get a new one back in, and maybe after a week or so, maybe I'll have a longer form video talking about going back and forth and what that was like, where I stand there. So that's the Surface Duo situation. Not news I want to share, but unfortunately news that I have to share. So let's talk about something in the video game world. So there is a game that is, it's new. It's still in early access. It's not even fully out yet. If you don't know what early access means, basically that means that it's not done. You can go ahead and buy it and play it, but they're like, we're adding stuff actively. It's got some bugs. It's not done. You're going to help us beta test it. And it's called, is it Phasmophobia or Phasmophobia? Phasmophobia makes more sense.
I think it's Phasmophobia. I think they misspelled it, and I don't know if that was like an accident or if it was something that they had to do intentionally.
No, well, okay. No, Phasmophobia is the correct spelling. That is what it's called. Phasmophobia. Phasmophobia is the name of the game, which I will probably say at least one more time, so get ready for that. And if you don't know what it is, we've actually posted a video of a couple of rounds of it. And basically, so what it is you get together with between 1 and 4 total players, so you and your 3 good friends, and you start off in a back of like a box truck kind of thing, and you are ghost paranormal activity investigators. And you have some information about the haunting going on in this house, and you get to go in, and you got to gather some information, talk to the ghost, interact with the ghost, maybe take a picture of the ghost, bully the ghost, yell mean things at it. And there are objectives. So it may be like, get a picture of the ghost. Okay, so then you got to go in, and it's like, this ghost's name is Barbara, and, she tends to interact with you if you're alone. So then everyone's like, all right, I got the camera, so everybody get out of here. I'm going to go in. And the hook of the game, I think to me, is that your microphone is always open. So it is listening to you. The game is listening to you. So if you go in and you say, you can bring in with you a radio so you turn on the radio. Like you may have seen people in ghost hunting shows where they have a radio.
Spirit boxes.
It's a radio. So you try and talk to the ghost, and then you listen and you try and hear a voice in the static, which is like stupid. But in the game, you go in and you turn the radio on and you're like, Barbara, how old are you? And then if it's a certain kind of ghost, it will answer. You'll hear it say old or whatever. I don't know. And
They're not going to give you anything that specific with that question.
Right.
But,
or you'll say, what do you want? And it'll be like, kill. And you're like, okay, well, that's good. So you're gathering that data. And you're trying to figure out, one, what kind of ghost is this? Is this a phantom? Is this a wraith? Is a wraith a ghost? I don't know. You're trying to basically diagnose what it is. What is this ghost? And then if your objectives are get a picture of the ghost or detect low temperatures or whatever, you're trying to tick off your objectives. And then you're trying to get out of there alive, having done so, because the ghost will kill you if you let it, if you get into the wrong situation. If you antagonize it too much, your flashlight starts flickering. By the way, the lights are always out. You can't see a damn thing. So you got a little cone of light. Your light starts flickering. You start hearing thumping sounds and like groaning sounds. And you're like, I am in trouble. Hopefully you've got a crucifix in your hand or something to throw on the floor to ward the ghost off.
Smudge That's my favorite.
And once you accomplish all your goals, you get in the car, you lock it up, and you leave, and you earn money, which then allows you to buy more gear to bring into your next ghost adventure. So okay, you've been hooked by it probably more than any of us. What about this game makes you want to keep playing it? I think it's fine. You think it's more than fine.
I think it's amazing, but then again, I mean, I love haunted houses and spooky TV shows and ghost stories, and I like to be scared. In this game, definitely, like, especially the first night. The first night I was really, really spooked.
The first night playing it, I look, I'm not a horror movie watcher.
Yeah, but I am.
Normally, it's not, okay, we have to define the word scared here to really say what I mean. I don't like being startled.
Yeah.
I really do not like being startled. Okay?
Yeah,
it's not that I'm like and maybe I'm making a distinction without a difference here. It's not that, like, if somebody was like, "Hey, are you afraid of ghosts?" I'm like, "No." Are you afraid of witches? No.
No.
Are you afraid of a normal human leaping out of a closet when you don't expect it, scaring the crap? Yes, I'm scared of that. That is a normal reaction to have. And that first night, because you don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So
you don't know what to expect.
That first night when you're in the dark and the light starts flickering, and you simply don't know what's about to happen, and because of that,
it's really unsettling.
You start feeling that, some nerves where you're like, I'm not so sure about this.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and play some footage here overlaid while you're talking that might,
Right. So, I mean, I'm a thrill seeker for, like, anybody that knows me. Like, I might not seem that way because I'm not a very, like, exciting person. I'm kind of a hermit. I like to keep to myself and everything. But, like, I love roller coasters. I used to cliff dive when I was a teenager. Like, I'm definitely into the adrenaline, and it's almost like addictive. This sounds like I'm in, like, an AA meeting or something, and I'm, like, telling people, like, I'm addicted to thrills.
Yeah.
I mean, really, though, I am. Like, I'm a sensory seeker. I'm that kind of person. I like to get my blood pumping, and I like to get that, and then afterwards you feel, giggly and stuff. It's just, it's fun.
I'm showing a clip here now, if you're watching on YouTube, where a ghost appeared in front of me in the bedroom, and then you can see me, spin a 180 and get the H out of that room, and then your character goes completely insane and dies of insanity, and I just kind of calmly walk past you and start heading for the stairs to get out of that house. I'm like, well, time to hit the old...
my comrade's dead, but I'm out, so
hit the old dusty trail and get on out of here.
That's my favorite part, is the character model made me, like, totally unfazed.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the modeling...
slowly walking out of that house.
Well, see it, because you can't run. Like, there's a run button.
You can't run.
But it's a joke. Like, you can't run. Like, it's the difference between, like, walking and then, like, walking 10% faster. But that's part of it. You don't want it, like... The original Resident Evil games, and they were like the isometric camera, or the fixed camera, I should say. They were scary because you you felt like you're
being watched.
Well, not just that, but you can't move quickly. You can't see what you're doing. You can't run away. You can't aim accurately. Like you feel so unsafe. It's the reason why you really like Dying Light. I really like Dying Light, but I liked it less when I had guns because I was too powerful.
Okay, well, listen. The good news is 5 years later that they've beefed up the zombies. Okay,
Sure,
so you could go back in and play it, and it wouldn't matter if you had guns because you're not killing these mother effers.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that they did that. But that my greater point though is in Phasmophobia, you essentially have no recourse to save yourself from the ghosts. If the ghost comes after you, it's hard. Like you may, if you've got a crucifix, but not all these things are maybe this one isn't bothered by crucifixes because that's part of the fun is you need to get in and figure out what you're dealing with. Yeah. Because if you're dealing with the wrong thing and you're like, well, this one, it doesn't like salt. Well, I have a crucifix. It doesn't care about a crucifix. It'll kill you anyways. Yeah. So you don't know that you brought the right equipment. So there's investigation that has to be done there, which I do think is enjoyable.
I don't know. There's something that's really goofy about it because people react differently to fear. But it's always, for the most part, like it's always very funny. Like I've noticed that like you and Jacob don't seem to get like that spooked at all because I was losing my mind. I'm like in the dark, my flashlight's flickering, and I'm like, as soon as that screen goes black, I just can't handle it, which is weird because like I never realized that I had like a fear of the dark, but now I think I definitely do.
I have a fear of the dark when there's something in said dark that wants to kill me.
Well, right, but you don't know what it is or where it is. But
exactly.
The one time we've ever experienced like true absolute darkness, we went to Tuckaleechee Caverns for our vacation one time.
It was the Lost Sea Adventures, actually. It wasn't Tuckaleechee.
No, the Lost Sea, we were good, but Tuckaleechee Caverns, we did that one like a year later or something, and there's a big cave room, and I know this because I've been there a lot in my life.
Oh yeah, we did do that one too. We did do that one too.
And they turn out the lights.
They did that in Lost Sea. They did that in Lost Sea too, though. Yeah, I got a picture. I got a picture standing in what they call the cathedral or something. It's like a big open. It's massive inside, and we took a picture in there. And then they shut the lights off, and we took the picture afterwards. Because I remember I handed my phone to the person, and they used the flash on the camera, and
okay, I really thought that was Tuckaleechee. Maybe they both do it.
I think that they both do it, but it is true pitch black.
Yes.
No light. You're under the ground.
It's maddening, like terrifying. Like and that was a fear that like after it was over, I felt a little bit better. But like that kind of fear to me was like not fun. Because I was like, how did these people, do this? But anyways, back to the game.
Getting into that cave and building, building the rails and everything.
And not knowing what the hell is down there. Oh my gosh,
it's such a cool place. I'm actually showing some pictures here on somebody's website. And there's the actual sea. You get on a boat. And go out there, and there's blind fish in there. It's fucking crazy.
Oh, those fish are amazing.
There's the dock.
I want to pet them.
Yeah, it's a really cool place. Really neat place.
To me, it's really fun to play games that play on that kind of fear, because it's very immersive. Like you were talking about with Dying Light, that was one that I loved too because I remember seeing it the first time we were watching like an IGN preview of the game or something where someone was reviewing it and we're like, oh, should we get this game? And I was like, I don't know. That looks really scary. Like them hunting at night and you're being chased by this volatile thing. That still scares me in Dying Light. I still get scared, but I love that game. And this is another one like that. And just one thing also that I noticed too, and I think this is why I like it as well, is because I'm noticing these things while I'm playing. Is like we played with Daniel, who's Young Bread, on YouTube.
Youngbread 401?
401 maybe. Youngbread 401, Daniel.
401, yeah, yes. But another good YouTuber.
Yeah. he played with us, and you and Jacob were doing something like you guys always do. Anytime you're in a game, you guys kind of like wander off and do your own thing. And I was like, Daniel, follow me. And like as soon as he followed me, I was like, I feel better now. I feel safer. It
Yeah.
just like having another person with you made you feel safer, which is just really like that's so interesting, like on a psychological level, because it doesn't matter for some of these ghost types.
Yeah.
They don't care if you're alone sometimes. They'll still
So,
try and get you.
so something, I mentioned that it was in early access, right? Which means there's going to be more stuff coming, more additional features. I'm going to pitch
like
something
kind of
here.
Games.
Right, you're kind of along for the ride. Like PUBG was like that when I got PUBG, and it was fun to watch it grow and expand. So I am going to now speak. I'm positive that I'm not the only one who's thought of this. But I'm going to act like I am because I'm the only one that I know has thought of this, right? So Phasmophobia, I'm going to speak to Kinetic Games directly right now. Here is what I would love to see out of this game. I want to see a PvP mode instead of a PV. What is it? PV, whatever. The computer. PvP being
PVC.
I don't know what the term is. PvE or something like that. So player versus player. I want a mode where I can be the ghost. And y'all got to come figure out what kind of ghost I am and accomplish your tasks.
Yeah.
Now, I've been thinking about this, right?
What if you could choose your type of ghost?
Yeah. So I've been thinking about this. You choose your ghost, choose your own ghost.
Maybe it's random.
And each ghost has different attributes. Like some ghosts can go into like a hunting mode. It makes them quicker, but when you're in hunting mode, you become visible, right? So there's like a give and take there. Different weaknesses, so crosses, salt, smudge sticks. And so then on the flip side, the other team is trying to
Ouija board.
Yeah. So then
Fun.
Then the investigators are trying to figure out like what you are. So like wherever you are, maybe like if you're a certain kind of ghost, the temperature drops. So they're like, oh, I got cold breath in here, so I know that he's been here and it's generating cold breath. So so you're trying to figure all this stuff out, and then maybe like I don't know, different things may be able to slow you down or draw you out or make you visible or whatever. There's plenty of dynamics you could have there. And then as the ghost, your objective is to just kill everybody or to prevent them from getting as many tasks done as possible. I think like you want to take this game to the next fucking level. Like right now, this is a great Twitch game because it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch. It's not fun to watch because of the game. It's fun to watch because of the people playing the game, because you're watching people experience fear, and that's entertaining. But you could turn it into an entirely different thing. You could turn it into a competitive game that would have fear as a mechanic, where you're literally trying see if I'm the ghost, I'm gonna know how to scare Jessi better than the computer will. You know what I mean? No, but seriously. And you're going to know how to potentially scare me worse than the computer would, because we know each other then. So now it's a game of trying to scare the shit out of your friends. So to me, PvP could be incredible.
That would be really fun. And that's something that they introduced in, and I keep referring to this game so much, but they introduced it into Dying Light, where you could be the hunter. You could play as the volatile type zombie thing, and a lot of people like that game mode. I've never played it because I don't play that game with friends, so it's not something I'm interested in. But this one I would definitely be interested in. I would want to use the Ouija board and communicate through the spirit box. If you could you wouldn't want to throw it off though. Like maybe you can only do the things within your category. You're a poltergeist, so you can throw things, but maybe you can't.
Right.
Maybe you can't. I don't know. Maybe you don't give a crap about smudge sticks or something.
Each ghost will give off 3 different signs, and the signs can be cold temperature, audible through the spirit box, aka a radio. Spirit orbs, which will appear nearest you, what are the other ones? Oh, writing in a book. So you put a book
Oh,
down
ghost writing.
and ghost
Yeah.
writing. So like if you put a book down
Yeah.
and come back in the room 10 minutes later and it says die, die, die written all over it, probably a ghost did that. And then there's a fifth one, right? Wasn't there a fifth one?
Fingerprints. Did we say
Fingerprints.
that?
Yes, if you open up a door, some ghosts will leave handprints on the doors and so forth.
Yeah.
So whatever you pick, you would give off 3 of those. Maybe someone puts down their. You'd have to figure out how it would work. If you would have to actively do it, like if they put down the ghost writing book, would you have to go over and write in it?
Like maybe you're compelled to or something.
Right.
Maybe it's something that you can't help but do.
Right. So there'd have to be something going on there. The other ones would pretty much all be like, well, the ghost orbs could just happen near you. The cold would happen near you. If you want, the fingerprints, unless you just stay in a corner and never open any doors, but then, they have to figure that out too. Maybe do footprints or something, because at least where you're standing would have prints or something. So there's things you could do to make all that work.
Yeah, I think that would be really interesting. I also think it'd be really fun too if maybe because when you die in this game, you're put in this spirit world, and I think you can see the ghost. Right?
I am not entirely sure if you can or not. So when you die, you enter.
I have seen it when I was dead once.
A spirit world. Did you see the ghost while you were dead?
Just once though, because I didn't stay. I actually didn't die that much. I found a way to skirt the ghost. If you break the line of sight with the ghost, it'll usually leave you alone for a minute.
I'm showing now what it looks like when you're dead. Everything just kind of looks hazy and
very cool.
Yeah. So it would be potentially interesting to be like, like you got killed. So like I would kill you, and then immediately we would just be standing there with each other, and I'm like, what's up? You're a ghost now.
Yeah.
I ghosted
could you then as a recently dead investigator help your friends, or could you help the ghost?
Yeah. Plenty of aspects there. That could be, maybe, when I get you, you turn. Now you're on my side. It's like
hide and seek, like group hide and seek, almost.
Right.
You have to help look.
Yeah.
Definitely a wonderful game.
Cheap, relatively cheap on PC. I don't know if they've got any plans to bring it to consoles or not.
They have it. It's a good VR game.
It is VR compatible.
We do VR, but a lot of people say that they like it in VR. You can tell by looking at it that it's a VR game.
They are focused on PC only right now. $13.99, cheap. Inexpensive, fun little party game, cheap. To get a hold of and have some good spooky fun.
It's a fun game. That's what it is, and I think we need that right now. Some fun.
Definitely. Do you want to talk about, just to kind of close things out, what else you've been playing here lately?
Oh yeah, I forgot. So I've been, I meant to talk about this last week on the last episode we did, because we're closer to Halloween. But I've been playing a lot on my Switch lately. I was playing Animal Crossing again. I've gotten back into that. And I was very excited about the fall update and about all the Halloween items and the Halloween event. Well, I kind of got a little bit bummed out, because one thing that they do is sometimes on the events it'll last like a specific time on a day. Like the Halloween event was obviously on Halloween, but it was from like 5 p.m. to 11 only that you would see, the Halloween character, and that you could do like the trick-or-treating thing. And just so happened that night I was working a closing shift. So I was working 2:30 p.m. to like 10 p.m. And I literally sped home from work, because I was like, I'm only going to have 45 minutes to play this event, and there are a lot of items that I want to get. So I'm speeding home, and I'm, stressing out about how I'm not going to get to do this event. And I'm also like, on one hand, I'm frustrated, because I'm like, that's not cool, because not everybody has that availability to do this. There are a lot of kids that maybe from 5 p.m. to 11, maybe their parents don't let them play, or, what have you, or people who work. And so I'm sitting there thinking like, oh, like I might have to time travel, which is something I've tried to stay away from in Animal Crossing.
So Animal Crossing goes by an actual 24-hour clock that is what your Switch says. If your Switch says it is 4:38 p.m., it is 4:38 p.m. in your Animal Crossing world. Time traveling would be if you went into your Switch's system settings and said, actually, it's noon on the 5th of November, not the 6th. So then in that game, you've now moved back in time or forwards in time, because certain things, like the shop gets new items every actual 24-hour day. So you could change the time, change the day. You could go in yours and say it's Christmas, and then when you open up your game, it would be Christmas. So.
And there's been a lot of debate in the community too, and I've always been one of the ones that hasn't really liked it.
It's cheating. It's bullshit. Don't time travel.
Well, okay, well I have, so you're being mean.
It is what it is. I stand by it.
Right. So I felt the need to time travel because I was not going to be able to enjoy the event.
You didn't do it to cheat. You did it because work precluded you.
Yeah.
From being able to play the game.
The event that was in game was not something I was going to have access to.
Correct. So doing that is not a problem to me. You see, the game had been out for a month, and people would have these incredible islands that are all custom, and you can't do the things they're doing without having time traveled.
Yeah, exactly. So, but here's another thing though. After time traveling, it is a slippery slope to know how easy it is, because I have used it a couple times because my work schedule prevents me from being able to enjoy games like a normal person because I'm always at work.
Right.
So I've used it a few times, and it does take a little bit away from the game, but it also is a wonderful tool for people who don't have a lot of time. So I'm starting to come around a little bit on that for people who have used it in a way where I can understand it. Like the second time I used it was because there was something else that was going on, and I knew the next day I worked like 10 to 7, which means that like I was not going to be home to do anything. Like I was not going to have time. I was at work all day, and I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and do this thing and time travel, get it over with, and go back in. But that's the only way I've used it. So it's an interesting thing where I'm kind of glad that we were all really excited about the Halloween event. It's something people could talk about like at work or to their friends or to their families. Hey, did you get this item? Are you going to do the Halloween event? It's something like, it almost reminds me of being younger and being like, do you remember when we had the 29 Nights of Halloween or whatever on TV, where every night there was a different Halloween movie? It reminds me of that,
Yeah.
But it's also a little bit limiting when you're an adult woman who has to work.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're not a kid that doesn't have anything better to do,
Yeah, I mean it's an interesting kind of debate as to whether or not it's cheating or not. I think it can be cheating, and I think it also can not be cheating. So I think it just kind of depends. So.
And then just to top it all off, I've also been playing Let's Go Eevee again a little bit. I've been trying to train my Pokemon and catch them all. And that's actually been very enjoyable. I forgot how much I love that game. How much Pokemon games are really good, and I never played them when I was growing up, so having it on the Switch is like really awesome. And the Let's Go Pokemon games were really fun. And the Pokemon are just so cute. And I want more. I want more good Pokemon games.
We need to get I don't know why this hasn't already happened, but Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee were a remake of the original two. So then Silver and Gold came next. So why there is not they need to just keep doing it. They need to just make another two for Silver and Gold, and I would buy them in a heartbeat to do that.
I would love for that. I think that they could make a lot of money too. It'd be a good business venture for them, and it'd be wonderful for the rest of us.
I would love to see them do every other year. So every other year do a mainline Pokemon game, and then the next year do a Let's Go Pokemon game.
Yes.
Because there's so many.
So fun.
By the time they got caught back up, they would never catch up.
Mm-hmm.
It would always be just constantly remaking a really old one and then making a new one. And I think that would be really cool because I would totally would replay one if I could get the next batch of Pokemon. I kind of stopped paying attention pretty much after Silver and Gold. Couldn't really. There were so many Pokemon and it got so hard to keep track of.
And they stopped being really cute and adorable, and they started being really weird.
Yeah, I don't see, how far did I make it in order? Let's see here. Let's see how long I made it. In chronological order. So I played blue and red. Then let's go by release order here. Yeah. So the second generation was silver and gold, and then they did the enhanced version, crystal, which I did not play. The third generation was Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, but those are remakes of Red and Blue. So I did play those, but that was a remake. Then I did play the third generation that added more Pokemon. It was in Trico, Deoxys. It was, which one was it though? Pokemon Emerald. Emerald was really, really good. I did play Emerald. So Diamond and Pearl was the first one that I stopped playing. I played up to Emerald. So there's so much there. There's so much there to be able to do. So
it'd be fun.
Most definitely. So guys, I think this is going to bring us to the end of today's episode. Like I said earlier, head over to Twitter and give us a follow. You can talk to us there and ask questions and talk to us about things you want to hear talked about on the show. You can also go to scaryifliteral.com to links to not just our Twitter, our Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, etc., etc. Plenty of ways to interact and ways to support the show. I'm probably very near wanting to fully launch a merch store. So we'll have links there as well as on Twitter if you want to support us that way and get maybe a cool shirt or a mug or something. So keep on the lookout for that. But yeah, I think that's it, guys. So thanks for joining me today, Jessi. My name is Shane. This is Podcast Revived, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.